Welcome to FBB Forum. If you like this content, please be sure to follow, like, and subscribe to the FBB Forum YouTube and Instagram pages, and the links are included in the comments below. I'm very pleased to welcome the amazing IFBB women's physique athlete, Ayla Nova, to the podcast. Ayla earned her pro card at the 2022 North Americans, and just a few months ago made her pro debut at the Omaha Pro. She lives in New Hampshire and owns her own gym and coaching business. I think Ayla has a very fresh and attractive look, and is going to be very successful in this sport. Welcome, Ayla. It's great to have you here.
Hi.
Thank you for joining me. So my first few questions are in terms of how you got started in bodybuilding, and I was wondering if you had an athletic or a sports background before you started.
Yeah, whatever. Um, so I have always been athletic, not necessarily isolating like weight training, but like I've always enjoyed doing gymnastics. Through high school, I did swim, track, cross country, all years of high school. And then just kind of like incorporating like a little bit of every kind of activity. Mine is ball sports. I don't really care that much for ball sports. Be careful with it here. But yeah, so it was around probably the age of like 17 or 18 that I started really diving into like strength training, because I wanted to actually change my physique. Beforehand, the athleticism was more so for like the way that I felt. I just, the endorphins. I liked I like just being active in general. But I definitely wanted to like start changing my shape and my size, because I'd always been just like the smallest person.
Really?
The smallest person in the gym, the smallest person, in my class, pretty much like around 100 to 114 pounds consistently. Um,
Wow.
and so, like I had to focus on like what I was doing translating to my actual goal. And so I started eating a lot more and mostly specifically strength training and, doing what I have to do to achieve my goal.
And you're pretty tall too, aren't you?
I don't know if it's considered tall, but I'm 5'6".
Oh, okay, yeah. But you're taller than a lot of the bodybuilders, I'd say, though. So that's very cool. Yeah. And if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm 29.
Okay, cool. Wow, you're just a young whippersnapper. That's awesome, though, about your sports background and athletic background. Now, in terms of bodybuilding in particular, how did you get started, and who convinced you to do your first bodybuilding contest?
So I'd always been interested in being a bodybuilder at some point, since I started, weight training like around 17 when I wanted to like get more size. But I knew that I definitely had like a long road to go of like putting on muscle and, before I even start thinking about like hiring a coach and navigating shows and such. So during that process, I had worked for a personal training company, where I had ended up working in several different locations. So one of the locations was Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. And Chris, my current coach, um, he he was a trainer for the company that I managed.
Okay.
And so pretty much by the time that I was like leaving that location to go work at a different location, we had decided to embark on my first show prep for the Lee Haynes 2016. And he said, like, you're definitely ready to start competing. I didn't believe it at the time, but, I trust, his judgment because he has a lot of experience. Um, he has been a bodybuilder since he was a teenager, and now he's like in his mid 40s. Um,
Wow. Okay.
it's
Yeah.
also a bodybuilder, so that's how he got into it to begin with. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, I trusted his judgment, and that's when we decided to start my very first show prep. Um, and just kind of having him like step in and say like, you are ready, like you can do this. You know, like that gave me kind of like the initiative to start my bodybuilding journey. Whereas I wouldn't have done it if it weren't for him, you know, kind of encouraging me to start.
That's terrific. And what division did you start with?
Figure.
With figure? Oh, very cool. That's awesome. When did you switch over to women's physique?
I honestly don't remember the exact year. I think it was 2019 when I did the North Americans. I was planning on doing figure and then crossing over into physique because my coach was, you know, again, he stepped in and was like, you are ready to compete in physique. And I think you'd place very well. I didn't think that I had enough size from like looking at the competitors and, you know, the physique division.
Yeah.
And then as it got closer to, you know, time to compete, he was like, I just wouldn't even waste your money on like, you know, entering into figure also. Like if physique is your end goal, then you should just, you know, drop figure and just go for it. So I didn't really have hardly any experience with like posing for physique. So I
Uh-huh.
like, you know, polish that up a little bit, you know, more than I had been prepared at that point. But I learned how to pose like 2 weeks before the show.
Oh,
Um,
really?
definitely
Wow.
my weak points going into that show for physique. Um, I placed one spot away from earning my pro card at North Americans. Um,
Wow.
first time doing physique, and my feedback was that, you know, I needed to work on my posing, and that's whenever my sponsor, um, you know, got me some lessons with Penny, and I really learned a lot more about how to like pose for physique. And my coach Chris, he also taught me as much as he can, you know, like being a male bodybuilder,
Mhm.
taught me how to do the side chest and stuff. But yeah, that definitely helped a lot.
That's terrific. That's great. It'd be nice to ditch those heels too. And as a fan, I prefer physique because you get to do the flex and do the, the routine. It's kind of creative.
Yeah, that was like my favorite part. Well, two of my favorite parts being barefoot. Because in general, I just love being barefoot. I feel like much more grounded with the universe, and also being able to show my biceps because I trained biceps so hard, like especially when I was younger because I just really wanted big arms.
Uh-huh. Your biceps are great too. That's very cool. No, I think it's good that you switched to physique for sure. Um, Now I was curious, do you have a fitness or bodybuilding role model that you look up to?
I don't. I was actually just discussing this with a friend the other day who's also a pro. Um, he was telling me about like, you know, bodybuilders, and I didn't recognize any of the names. I was like, who's that? So
Oh yeah.
I honestly don't I think it's because I like ran my own business and I just have a super busy life, and I don't
Mhm.
watch television. I'm not really like on social media other than like for business purposes. So I'm kind of like out of it. I don't watch the news. I don't know people's names that are like star in movies or for bodybuilding. I know I should, you know, probably like follow it a bit more. Um, so yeah, I unfortunately I don't really have any role model. I just try to like envision like how I want to look. Um,
Yeah.
like just try to do the best that I can do because it's like, you know, everyone has like a different body structure, and it's like if you look at someone and you're like, I want to look like that, you know, it could kind of like lead to discouragement because sometimes it's just unattainable. You know, you could really like admire their look, but you have to be like realistic as far as like what is attainable for you.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point actually. And yeah, I think you have to be realistic about that sort of thing for sure. No, that's cool. And you can always I'm like a bodybuilding historian, so you can always ask me if you need any info.
I've actually gained like most of my knowledge by you talking to me about that.
Oh, really? Oh, that's terrific. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I know. I think I know all the ladies now and at least all the pros. And so, yeah.
Question for you. I know this is like my interview, but so do you also like follow like men bodybuilders, or like do you do interviews with male bodybuilders, or do you just mostly focus on like the women's?
No, I just really focus on the women. I know a little bit about the guys and I follow them a little bit, but yeah, I don't do interviews with them. So yeah, I'm more focused on the ladies and just been a fan of the ladies for a long, long time, like since I was a kid, so
Like a fan of the men?
yeah, no, I mean I admire what they do, but yeah, just not that interested in them, so um Now, it's tough. I was curious, was it tough for you to get up on stage in a bikini for the first time? Was it nerve-wracking or for you? And is it nerve-wracking now to get up on stage?
No. I would say as far as like being on stage or like photo shoots or anything like that, like I've just grown like more and more okay with it. Like and more confidence as well. Um Not just like with my body, but I would say like overall, just about like feeling good and proud about like the person that I am. Like the work ethic that I have to, have accomplished what I did. So yeah, like I didn't feel nervous about it for my first show, and I still wouldn't feel nervous about it.
That's terrific. That's really cool. I think that confidence kind of shows when you're up on stage too. You do look really great up on stage. And
It would be a different story if like I didn't bring a good physique. Like um my kind of like tough point is like my legs and my glutes. I think it is with like a lot of females.
yeah,
If I was to get on stage with like fat on my butt, I definitely would be more insecure. But whenever, like my conditioning is good, then I feel pretty good getting on stage.
yeah, I got you. I understand. I think yeah, your conditioning is really good, I think. Um, Now, just in terms of competing, I know you made your pro debut at the 2024 Omaha Pro show where I got to meet you there. And I was curious, what was your experience like there? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I definitely should have, like gotten there a few days earlier. I was just trying to like dip out of work and, just be there for like 2 days and come back before anyone knew I was gone.
Uh-huh.
I just had a lot of stuff going on back home that
Mhm.
trying to like, still manage to do my pro debut before the year is over. My sponsor really wanted me to get out there, and so he sent me the funds to do it, and I was like, well, just gonna do it. I can't, guarantee that it's gonna be like the best that I can bring. Just because of like the other factors that go into it, like environment, just mentally being like in the right headspace, um, which I was not. But it was still a good experience, and I feel like good about getting it done. Um,
Mhm.
it was like it's not gonna necessarily be like the best show ever, but you need to like get on the pro stage and have that experience, so that you kind of know what to expect and you could do better at your next pro show. So
Yeah,
I just consider it like a stepping stone, and I was glad that I like made that step.
that's terrific. Yeah, I thought you looked great for your pro debut. And yeah, I think it was good because it was 2 years after you got your pro card. So
Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, to make that leap and get up on stage for pro debut is really good, I think. Um, um, Now in terms of earning your pro card at North Americans, I bet that was a thrill for you. What did it feel like to earn your pro card? And did you enjoy the show there too?
I definitely enjoy the show. It was kind of like nostalgic because I've done the North Americans before, and like previously being there as a figure competitor, um, I I placed seventh whenever I competed in figure, and that was like my first national show. And I remember being so disappointed because I was like pouting that I made seventh. I think everyone does that like after they've done a regional show and like won it, then
Hmm.
they have like high standards for the national show. But it was a huge show that year. And my coach was, just kind of giving me a reassurance that like seventh place is great for, that big of a show, and then also my first national show. But yeah, it definitely felt like much more rewarding having like been at that show before. And then like finally, getting my pro card there. I did feel it in my bones, but like I that pro card was mine. It had been just a really long year, and each show I had just gotten better and better. Uh,
Hmm.
like the Team Universe, and then the USA's. It was kind of like not so challenging of a show, and then like a little bit more challenging, and then North Americans being like very challenging, like tough competition.
Yeah.
So I had gotten better, and then like my conditioning was even better, and then it was like unbeatable. And my sponsor was like, "You don't have to worry about the competition being tough if you show up unbeatable." And I was like, I'm just going to keep my head down and keep grinding and, show up the absolute best so that I don't even have to like, worry about the other competitors or like look at other people backstage and be like, is she competition? I was just like tunnel vision in the zone, ready to go up there and get my pro card.
That's terrific. I remember watching that show, and I thought you had a really great look, and yeah, I don't think there was doubt that you were gonna get the win on that one in your class there. You looked really good. So yeah. But I bet that was exciting though to get the pro card and after, a few years of work and working toward that. Now, do you know where you hope to compete next?
I don't. I was actually just discussing that with my coach the other day. So he's a pro. He hasn't done his pro debut yet, but he has to get a hip replacement. So he's going to get that done this year. And then we're planning on competing together next year, because that'll be
Wow.
probably like the ideal timing that I get through like this life transition that I'm kind of in the process of going through, so that I can be very prepared and have like the best prep that I've ever had, because a lot of my preps have been a struggle. Whether
Sure.
I'm in the process of moving or, I'm like um, traveling with my job and just like a lot of unpredictability and transitioning. Um, and like divorce and not fun stuff.
Yeah,
So
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I I place myself in the environment where I can really just focus on my prep being like the only struggle of my life in that moment, and not
Yeah.
else being such a struggle and trying to like squeeze in prep.
I got you. I totally understand that. That's a cool idea to do the same pro show as Chris too, and then he's going to be there anyway to help you for get ready for the show. So that I think that would be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it could be 2025 or maybe 2026?
Oh, it'll definitely be 2025.
Oh, good. Okay. Terrific. Yeah.
I'm
That's
like
great.
investing everything necessary to like be in the perfect spot to start prep next year. Like I'm
Okay.
yeah, I have some momentum.
That's terrific. I encourage you to do Tampa just because that's where I am, so I can see you compete again. So that's a good show too. Um, now, I was curious if you would consider moving up to women's bodybuilding division. I know you'd have to put on some more size for that, but
Well, no, like I'm not against, like putting on more size, but I feel like where I'm at right now, I have like really good mobility and flexibility. Like I can do sprints and, I can like swim and hike and just do, everything that makes me feel more like an athlete. Uh,
Hmm.
so I don't necessarily want to like risk my athleticism to like put on more size and kind of like have to limit the other activity that I can do. Uh,
Hmm.
like I just feel like the amount of muscle that I have right now, like it it's fitting and it looks good on my body and I can move well. Um, and it just feels like natural to me.
Oh yeah, no, I think you're perfect for women's physique too. Yeah, definitely. And no, I think that makes sense to stick with that. Um, I was curious, is there any advice you could provide to ladies who are seeking to earn their pro card? Because I know it takes a lot of hard work and dedication, but for ladies that are tuning in, what do you think?
Um, well, I mean, honestly, how I got my pro card was just like one hell of an awful year. So
Mm.
I don't recommend that to anyone else. It was divorce and like losing everything that I had and just like a lot of stressful things on my plate that like forced me to dig deep and kind of like focus on the one thing that was constant in my life that I could control because everything was just like crumbling around me and it made
Mm.
me feel like like I wasn't like defeated because I could still like put in this work and then get this outcome. Where
Yeah.
with everything else, it was just like I'm gonna try hard and try hard and try hard, and then it would just crumble and crumble and crumble.
Oh, I see. I got you. I understand.
Yeah,
So
I
you,
have a much more pleasant prep in the future. So I just kind of did what I needed to do and like utilize the pain that I was dealing with in the best way that I could.
yeah.
So I don't, I wouldn't recommend that to other people to like, you know, inflict pain on themselves so that they can grind. But that's how I did it.
I totally understand that. I know that's not ideal though, and just the stress can kind of mess up your body too, and cortisol levels and that kind of thing. So, no, it's great that you still pulled it off though for 2022 in North Americans because like I said, you really had a great look there. So,
Like
um,
the breakups, like make people have really good comebacks. And so I guess like with divorces, it makes pro bodybuilders. I mean, like,
exactly.
I know a couple of bodybuilders that, they got their Olympia qualification, through like really powering through those hard times. Um,
Yeah, yeah, that's true. It's strength through adversity, I think, and having a goal, to help you through those tough times, I think is good. Yeah. No, yeah, you're right. I agree with you on that. I was curious, in terms of your physique, what do you feel is your best muscle group, and what do you think needs the most improvement?
my best muscle group is my legs. I've
Yeah,
that ever since I started bodybuilding. But like, as I've kind of like gained better symmetry, like it's not as much of like, my kind of like my signature is like my legs. Because like now my upper body matches my lower half. Whereas like my legs were already so big to start off with that
yeah,
took like really building my upper body like twice as much so that I can have that balance. Um,
yeah.
Considering like my legs were not going to get any smaller.
Uh, I
At
think that's
that point for quite a while, but I feel like it's definitely improved a lot. But still, the area that I'm I'm focusing on more than anything else, building my back with depth.
that's terrific. Yeah, I can see that, and I think that's true of a lot of ladies that there's always top or bottom that needs to be improved, but or legs might be dominant. And yeah, I can see that with you, but I think you made a lot of improvements though. And yeah, that's pretty cool. Um, Now I know, tell me about your coach, Chris Hobbs, that you're actually in Hilton Head to see him, right? For training and such.
Yeah, just kind of like, I mean, he's like a really good friend of mine. He has been ever since, like 2015, 16. Um,
Nice.
he's just always been like very supportive, and he obviously has a lot of knowledge in bodybuilding. So, I mean, we mostly just hang out and like we actually make like ice cream and stuff and cook food and train. But it's not like all geared around bodybuilding stuff. It's, you know,
Sure.
like friends and also like coach. But yeah, Chris Hobbs is my coach. He is a pro bodybuilder. He won his pro card at the North Americans, I think 2020, or 2021. Those. But yeah, and then Jake Benson is more my coach for like the actual training. Chris helps with my nutrition and supplements. Um, but between the two of them, like it works. It works very well. And I like the training program that Jake has introduced me to. It's definitely something that like I've never tried a program like that before. But like immediately after my finishing my show at the Omaha Pro, like I felt like I had a lot of strength, even just like a week after, which I've never felt that after a show. And
Right.
put on like a good bit of size, so I feel really good about this off season. Between like the two of them collaborating their knowledge.
That's terrific. That's very cool. That's awesome. Yeah, then sounds like a good coaching team for sure. Now do you have a posing coach too? Because your posing is really good.
I've worked with Kenny um, for quite a while. I haven't done any sessions with him this year. Um,
Hmm.
I've done like a lot of sessions in previous years to where I feel like, I have my posing. Um, but I think for next year, my sponsor is going to get me some sessions, just to like polish things up since I haven't posed with him in a while.
Do you design your own routine too, or like
Yeah,
choreograph?
yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. Yeah, Kenny Wallach is a great coach, and I know he's kind of a legend in the bodybuilding community for sure. Yeah. I was curious, what would you say is the most challenging aspect of prep for you?
Hmm. I would say based on my experience with prep, it's everything outside of prep. Because everything feels a lot harder, like just more difficult when you're hungry and tired
Yeah, I got you.
but my life as like a business owner and going through like other obstacles in life is very demanding. And so it's just kind of like, learning how to cope with those things while I'm very hungry and tired.
Mhm. I think that would be really challenging. I think, and that's why I probably don't want to do bodybuilding. I don't know if I'm disciplined enough for that. That's tough with the probably feeling hangry. You're like, ah.
It really is.
No, I totally understand that. And it's bodybuilding is just a 24/7 sport too. There's really never a break from it. You're just constantly going and training and dieting and everything. So,
Yeah, really every decision that you make has to, like revolve around bodybuilding.
hmm.
There's like, the people that you surround yourself with and like how many hours of sleep you get at night, whether you're going to go to this event or not. Like if you need to like bring your food to, someone's house and just like kind of managing your time so that you can fit in everything that you need to do for. cardio training, prepping your food, making sure you get enough sleep, making sure that your headspace is right.
Yeah, I know that's really important too. Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah, I understand that. I think that's tough to pull it all off, but yeah, I admire y'all for doing that, you know. I don't think I'm cut out for it. Um,
And nice to like be in off season and just like not be hungry and be able to think properly,
yeah. I know.
doodling around.
I understand that. No, I totally got you on that. I was curious if you could give advice to ladies who are looking for a good coach, like what should they be looking for?
Someone who considers, like their their like wants and needs, not just like a coach that gives like one program and isn't flexible. Uh,
Mhm.
so yeah, someone who just kind of like respects the client's like beliefs and not pushing supplements that they don't want to take. Uh,
Mhm.
like kind of giving them like their options. Like if a client doesn't want to do, let's say, like the physique division, but their coach thinks that, the way that their body looks, that they would fit in best with physique, that they should like explain to the client that if you want to be competitive, then you need to compete in the division that you're gonna place best at.
Yeah.
If you want to do a show just for fun and because you really like the figure division, then you can do that. Um, and then also, like if a client wants to do a natural competition, like not trying to get them to do supplements that they don't want to do. So just like respecting like the client's approach to, doing a show and like what their objective is, if they want to become a pro, or if they're just doing it for experience and like gaining the self-discipline. As a coach myself, I don't coach like so many bodybuilders or competitors, but like that's still my approach just for like general, health and wellness clients.
Mhm.
That when they come to me, like I don't do more of the talking. Like I have them do the talking and, tell me like what it is that they're looking for. And then I can kind of start composing a plan, that like fits their needs. And I think that's really important. Just having a coach that understands and you feel like you can be like your own advocate as well. And then the coach respect that.
That's really good advice. Yeah, I appreciate that. I think that makes a lot of sense. Um, and yeah, from since you have the coaching experience yourself, I think that you can have a good perspective on that too. Um, um, now, I was curious, you said you don't really have many bodybuilding clients, but do you have like a preference for bodybuilders or lifestyle clients to work with, or?
Not necessarily. Just a client that is, ready to embark that journey. Because a lot of people, see, like they're fascinated with bodybuilding by the way that a competitor looks, but they don't really understand how ugly the process can be to get there. And
Yeah.
that, you know, if you're hungry, like you're going to be hungry for a while. And
Mhm.
stick with it and be consistent, um, regardless of like how stressful your day is or what else is going on in your life. um, so yeah, just I like to have any client be ready so that I don't have to kind of like try to motivate them to do something that they should already be ready to do.
Yeah, I got you. I understand that. Yeah. Um, that's good. Like you mentioned, kind of setting those expectations up front too, and knowing what they want or what they want to get out of it. I think that makes sense. Um, now, I actually know the answer to this, but how long have you dated Jake Benson? You mentioned as your coach, but he's his boyfriend too. And I think like he's really done a great job with Susan Graham, who got to her first Olympia and won the Omaha Pro. Um, and just how did you get to meet Jake there?
Omaha Pro.
Yeah, you met him there. That's right. Yeah.
I was actually, I went over and I talked to Susan and Jake because they seem like the most kind of like inviting people backstage. Unlike most of the coaches who are like, don't talk to us, they seem
Mhm.
very just like nice people. And I had seen, pictures from Susan's previous show. And then I saw the difference in how she looked at the Omaha Pro. Um,
Mhm.
so I just kind of like, congratulated her even, before we did the show, on like, what she's been able to accomplish. And then also, let her know that she has a really good coach to, have gotten her there. Um, yeah. And then we talked after the show. And from there, um, we pretty much like spent 2 weeks together following that. I was supposed to go back to New Hampshire the morning after the show, but I went to Utah and then we went to California. And then I was supposed to go back to New Hampshire from California, but then I went back to Utah.
Ah, nice. Uh-huh.
Really great time. We trained and just kind of like did things that we both haven't done in so long, like non-work related things and just like living life. Um,
Yeah.
and then like he's come to New Hampshire. Um, and yeah, we just really, it was like more vacations and like fun times than I've had in about 5 years.
Oh, nice. That's so sweet. Yeah, y'all were really sweet together, I think. And he is a really good guy too. I like him a lot.
Definitely. Like he's very patient and kind, and obviously anyone that knows him knows that he's very smart.
Yeah. Yeah, I know he has coaching business, but he also has a supplement business, Better Through Biology, that has been seems like it's going really well. And yeah, he's a really good guy. No, that's great that y'all got together there and and it was neat to get to meet him and Susan in person as well as you, because I hadn't met y'all in person before. So that was awesome. I was kind of chauffeuring you around because I remember you had a hotel kind of off-site from the host hotel there. So
Yeah, appreciate that too. That was extremely helpful.
oh yeah, you're welcome. It was great. A great experience to get to know you and stuff. So, very cool. That's awesome.
Want to meet my coach?
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
This is Chris Hobbs,
Hey, how
my
you doing?
coach.
Hey, Chris. Nice to meet you. How are you?
What was your name?
I'm David.
David. Nice to meet you, David.
I do
Got a good one
FBB.
here.
What's that?
Said I got a good one here.
Oh, I know. She's awesome. Yeah, I really like her a lot.
Pro client.
That's awesome. Yeah. No, it's got nice to meet him too. Um, now I know you said you're in New Hampshire. In where in New Hampshire are you? What city?
Concord.
And I was curious, there kind of a supportive bodybuilding community there, would you say, or
No, actually,
no?
bodybuilders out there. That's why I probably stand out quite a bit. The small town. Um, like if someone were to go somewhere where they can like elevate their experience with bodybuilding, it would not be New Hampshire.
I understand.
But I feel like if if someone is like determined to be a very good bodybuilder, you can do that anywhere. I've had, like what some would consider like limited uh access to equipment, cardio machines, but it's like I made it work. So
Hmm.
I feel like if you can like make it work, and under those circumstances, then like when you go to a place where there is more exposure and you have more resources, then like it can only make you better. But I I'm a firm believer that like it doesn't take like a specific environment for you to become something that you want to be.
Yeah, I got you. How are you doing? Are you doing okay time-wise? I just have a few more questions.
Yeah, probably a few minutes. My coach is waiting for me to go train with them.
I'll just ask you one more question and then I'll ask you to flex for me. Because I have to get back to work too.
Okay.
I'm just curious, what do you think is like the most maybe misunderstood aspect of bodybuilding by the general public? Because I think there's a lot of myths about bodybuilding that are perpetuated by people, looking from the outside. But what would you say about that? Just curious about your take on it.
From my experience and kind of like some adversity that I've faced with it, would be that like a lot of people assume that people do bodybuilding only for the way that they look, and that like bodybuilders are shallow people, and they just fixated on their body. Um, Whereas, I mean, of course, there probably are some people in bodybuilding that are like that, but um, I know a lot of people that got into it because they were facing hard things in their life and they needed an outlet. Um, and so, like, like no one says anything about the people who like turn to drugs and, become alcoholics, or, do things that just kind of like are self-destructive. Um, when it's like there are so many bodybuilders up on that stage that like they could have been that person that was self-destructing, and but they chose a different route. They chose to use their pain to become better. And like I see that in a lot of people. That's why I got into bodybuilding. It's just something to like really put all of your energy into, um, so that you can come out on the better side. So I think that many people don't see that. They just see, the outside, and the people do it, just for their body. But it's kind of like not everyone has to understand. Like it's my journey, it's their journey. And so whatever it means like to a person, that's all that really matters. Like I know that I've become a better person. Obviously, physically, I have more muscle, but like as a whole, like my whole being is so much better. And I wouldn't have gotten here if it weren't for, taking on this journey with bodybuilding.
Yeah, I got you. I understand that. And it really is, you have to be kind of mentally fit to do what you do, I think. But and I don't think people necessarily realize that. They just see the outside, they just see the physique. But yeah, I think that the mental aspect of bodybuilding is really important and kind of misunderstood probably by general public too. Yeah. So would you mind doing a quick flex for me?
My biceps.
Yeah, that'd be great. Wow, you look great, Ayla.
And chest.
Yeah, thank you. Oh yeah, you look great. Well, thank you so much, Ayla. It was really nice speaking with you again. And I'll try to get this posted this evening sometime, and I'll of course tag you and tag your coaches and everybody too. So, but it was good to see you again. Thank you.
Anyways, I'm glad we got to talk.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Competition in the future, 2025.
Yeah, we'll be looking for you definitely. I'll be keeping an eye out for when you compete again and keep me posted too.
Oh, I sure will.
Thanks, Ayla.
Bye.
Bye. Take care.
You too.